And we are live. Finally, let me know how I look. We're having all sorts of problems backstage with both of us. It's showing both of us choppy and frozen. It's showing both of us as being offline. So I'm not sure what's going on. Let me know if I'm frozen, choppy, anything like that. Let me know. Oh, there we go. So let me know. But anyway, we're here to have some fun, and I have an awesome guest tonight. And it is somebody that I've been chatting with a while, someone whose works I've been excited to read because I love urban fantasy, and I've been wanting to find more and more urban fantasy books, especially in indie urban fantasy. So this author has some awesome stuff that I'm excited to get to, and I'm excited to talk to him tonight and pick his brain and let you all get to know him. So without further ado, let me bring on my guest tonight, the one and only Tobias Youngblood.
Hello.
How's it going
Can you hear
today?
me? Was
Besides our technical difficulty issues.
pretty good. Either that was clapping or my computer's getting ready to blow up.
No, that was clapping. That was clapping.
Okay, good.
That was the rounding applause you get for being a
Okay.
trooper and pushing through. So we're our audio's good. I don't know how our video is, but we're just gonna get through it and we're gonna have a good time. So thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I
Oh, thank
appreciate you
you for
making
having
time. Yeah, it's been a busy, I'm sure, a busy week for you because you just had a new book come out this week on, let's see, the 25th. What would that have been? What day was
me.
that? Monday?
It was actually yesterday,
Oh yeah, the 30th.
the 30th. Yeah.
Oh man, so today is a real busy day for you.
Yeah. Little too much drinking.
Oh, well, that's all right. You're like should be a pro at this now because how many books do you have out?
So I guess officially six.
Okay.
Um, although one of them is a story in an anthology, so that doesn't quite count.
Oh, it still counts. It still counts.
One is also a novelette that's quite short, but yeah.
Yes,
So
a sketch. Very cool. And that one didn't come out too long ago either, right? That death sketch.
Death Sketch, I'm so bad at remembering my launch dates. It's really embarrassing. Um, I want to say this came out in September of 2023. So it's
It
been a
came
little
out
while.
that long ago. For some reason, I thought it came out in September 2024, but I
I
was
have
wrong.
to I have to literally look at my copyrights to know when they came out.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. Well, we got a lot of people in here that are ready to hang out with us. Let me go back. I'll have to go back to the
Awesome.
beginning because there was a lot of chatting while we were trying to figure out our stuff. But we've got Timothy Janata is in here. What's up, man? We've got um, John Stevenson here. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. And then we've got here he is. El Montague is here. Yeah, everyone came in and was probably wondering what was going on, but we got it figured out. And then I think down here we've got. It was a while. There we go. Trinity Cunningham's here. Says congrats, Tobias.
Thank you,
Let's
Trin.
see. So we got some awesome people already in here, and for everyone who is in here and just wants to hang out, that is fine. You don't have to chat in the comments, but if you do think of a question you want to ask Tobias, put it in the comments, and I'll be sure to ask him. And also for everybody watching on replay, we appreciate you. You guys are awesome. And for everyone, in the description, I've got Tobias's website and his books all linked, so you can go check them out. All right, so the book that came out yesterday was book 3 of your main series. So why don't we start there? Why don't you tell us about what genres you write, and then tell us about this new book and the series that it belongs to.
Yeah, so I kind of cast a wide net in what I write. I like to write sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, but basically it's been fantasy so far and a little bit of horror with Death Sketch.
Oh yeah, nice,
Okay.
nice.
Are you able to hear me okay with the audio
Yeah.
and everything?
Oh yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you. Yep.
Just checking because I'm seeing some crazy visuals, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um, I would say the Projectionists series is really quite a mashup of different genres. It is urban fantasy. That's what Jeff Brown, the book cover
Mm.
specialist, told me
Oh
when he
yeah.
was making my first the cover for Grave Covenant book number one. I was explaining the story to him. I was like, I don't know what this thing is, and he was like, "Oh, that's an urban fantasy." I was like, "Okay." And so it is urban fantasy because it takes place in an urban setting,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have all the tropes that I commonly see in urban fantasy.
Right.
Not written in first person. It's not this one super witty guy. There's some funny stuff in there and some witty, but it's really multi POV. It's also one long narrative across three books, rather than like episodic detective stories like you might see kind of going on in things like Dresden Files. That being said, each book does kind of have its own complete story, has a resolution to each one, but it's one overall arching narrative.
Okay. Well,
And yeah,
that's
there's elements of sci-fi and horror in there as well. So I like to think of it as dark fantasy in an urban setting with elements of sci-fi, which is a
nice.
terrible tagline.
Those are all things I enjoy, so that works out good.
Yeah, and then so it's three books, but I also have a prequel novella, Windland Vale,
Oh yeah.
which, which is really more high fantasy. And what
Hmm.
happened there was I started writing Grave Covenant book number one, and one of the more unique aspects of the series is these insectile shape shifting creatures called the Vilsha. And so I started writing book number one, and I didn't really have a good understanding of what these creatures really were.
Hmm.
And so I decided to jump back and write a prequel, which is like their origin story, where they came from. And since they didn't come from an urban setting, it's really more of a high fantasy setting and really more of a world building
Hmm.
episode.
That's yeah. When I saw that, I thought it looked more like a classic fantasy or epic fantasy. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, he's got like a fantasy series too. And then I'm like, oh, it's connected to the other series. That's pretty cool. So how far back in prequel is it?
How far back in time is it before book number one?
Yeah,
Like hundreds of years.
I was gonna say it's got to be pretty far back.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
it's definitely kind of inspired a little bit by The Hobbit as far as the cover I was going for and so forth.
Oh yeah, definitely has that vibe to it for sure. That's cool. And so now that you've had all the books out in that novella, do you recommend people start with book one and then squeeze the novella in a certain spot, or just start with the novella?
It's definitely a tough call. I would say the novella is the best place, is the true starting
Okay.
spot. But book number one is you can also start there. So I guess the question is really would you be more interested in starting with an urban fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
or would you be interested in starting from the true starting point? If you're really interested in all of it, then I would start with the novella. If you're unsure but you're interested in more urban, I might start with book one.
Yeah, I think
But I
that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, but I would definitely say if you read book one, Grave Covenant, and you like it and you want to continue, jump back and read Woodland Vale before continuing.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm someone. A lot of people are always publication order only, but I like to read chronological. So I always like to start with something the furthest back. So that sounds good to me. And novellas are just awesome. They're a great way for people to try out a new author, check out somebody's writing. And I love when they're prequels like that. It's just awesome. I think that's a great idea. Um, let's see. We got Timothy Wolf is here, another awesome author. What's up, Timothy? Thanks for being here. Beer Book Beast channel member, Timothy Wolf. So let's see. All right. So this book is the third book, and you've got the novella. How many books do you see this series being?
It's done. The
This
series
one ended it. Okay.
is complete. So let's. I'm guessing this isn't going to work, but let's try to. Here's the book number three.
Yes, I love that cover, man.
So
Your
yeah, this
covers
is.
are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the complete the last book in the series. There is definitely a possibility for spin-offs.
Okay.
There's areas there that could definitely have it, but it concludes strongly in the sense that all the main characters have their resolution. There's no
Right. So you
there's no like
wrapped it up
there's no
with
cliffhanger
a
there.
bow.
There's no cliffhangers.
Okay, nice. Now, was that always the plan from the start that you were going to do it in 3 books, or did it kind of that's what you thought, and then you're like you weren't sure, and then you were like, "Yep, I can end it good," or was that how you mapped it out, how you planned it from the start?
That's a fun question. Um, so this I want to say this was supposed to be a sci-fi horror standalone, kind of inspired by the movie Dark City. Kind of
Love Dark City.
yeah, kind of that vibe. So it was supposed to be a sci-fi horror standalone with no fantasy really whatsoever, and it turned into this thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
Now, did that just happen as you were writing it? It just became its own thing.
yeah, I think what happened was the focus was those insectile shape-shifting creatures, and when I had that desire to jump back and give them that origin story, it just went more fantasy with it, and then it just expanded from there.
Man,
A dragon showed up. Then there was another creature. There was a pixie in the prequel.
that's cool.
Then there was just more creatures and more characters.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, when did you write the prequel? Did you write it after book one or later?
So I was writing book one, and I wasn't happy with like how little I knew about these species. So I kind of jumped back while I was writing book one and wrote the prequel,
Nice,
and finished that one first. Then I can finish book one. I feel
very
like
cool.
book one took forever. I was writing that for years. It seemed like
How
because it
long
was
did it? How long did it take you to finish book one?
probably at least 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
I don't have a good concept of time though. So
uh, you don't remember when books came out. You know how long it took you to
uh,
read them. Hey, it's all right.
yeah,
As long as you write cool books, you don't need to have a concept of time.
there you go. Funny enough, I do use a timeline like in my book. 'Cause
Well, see, you've got the time down in the book. That's important.
I'm so paranoid, about it. I'm like, oh crap, I better have a timeline,
All
especially when
right.
you got multiple POVs.
Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Well, and when you've got that prequel that's set far back, I mean, you got to keep track of that stuff too, for sure.
Right.
Um, and yes, El is right. El Montague is the king of novellas, and he's right. I do love novellas. I'm always on the lookout for a good novella. All right, well, tell us a little bit about your covers because I love those covers. Tell us about who did them for you, how you found them, the interactions back and forth. Like, did you have this exact idea for each cover? Was there a lot of back and forth? How did the process go for you?
So I did not really have a good idea at all for the cover. I stumbled across Jeff Brown before he was a world
Just
famous
wild.
artist for like all these huge series. I just stumbled across an ad from him, and I was like, I really like his art style.
Hmm.
After looking through his website, so I was like, I want to get him to do book one. And this was like way before book one was even done, but I had
Yeah.
the idea for the main plot and everything. I was just like, I'm just gonna let this guy kind of run with it and see what his ideas are for it. And so I kind of just I had a live video session with him and told him what the story was about, and he kind of led me down the path of an urban fantasy sort of vibe to it, with a single character with the urban setting background, and then the crow over the shoulder is actually another character in the story, um, which kind of also reminds me of the crow a little bit, which I love.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Going back to the 90s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love the crow too. I agree.
Yeah.
That's
So I don't
that's
know, just I kind of let him run with that. And once I had the first book, um, I decided, I want to do the different color thing where you can
yep.
have each be a different color. So that we got the gold, the red, and the blue. And then it's really just kind of keeping that Dresden Files theme where you have the main character on the front, and then I had a different character on the front for each one. Um, so Ridley here, the main character,
Hmm.
on book
So cool
one.
looking.
The crow above him is Siv, who's another character, one of the shapeshifting creatures. And then book two, we have Ridley again. Uh, it's kind of like a Chinatown setting a little bit if you look real
Yeah,
close.
that's what I thought. Yep.
And there's some dragons hidden in there because there's dragons in the story as well. And then back here, or I'm sorry, I'm getting this mirror thing
I know.
mixed
I
up.
always do that, man. I can never get it right.
Yeah, so this that back here is another character named Iris, who's like she's a bit of an Arya Stark kind of badass girl archetype. She has throwing knives.
Oh, nice.
I love her. She's awesome. And then False Idol again has Ridley on the cover, and then floating next to him is this creature named Drexel, who's actually a pixie
Oh,
from
cool.
Woodland Vale. He comes back in the series in book two.
Ooh,
Kind of
nice.
disappears for book one and comes back. So that's why I think you should read Woodland Vale before you read book two, because you wouldn't know
Right.
who
It
each
won't
guy
hit
is.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, those the covers are awesome, dude. Well done. I think you nailed it, and that I'm excited to get them and read them. Those are definitely what I always tell people when I just love their cover. I call it a scroll stopper. Like if people are scrolling, they're gonna stop on your covers, man. Those are sweet. So and I just think that's so cool that you found Jeff Brown before he blew up, and like you never see him do urban fantasy. He does so much epic and fantasy covers.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see one that's got that epic fantasy vibe, man.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't. And I was like, oh man, he's not even going to respond to my emails anymore. Now he's doing like
Right?
miles in, all this crazy stuff. But he did. He responded to my email, so he's a good guy.
Yeah, he seems like a super just down to earth cool guy. Like yeah, I've seen him on some interviews. He seems pretty awesome. Let's see. We got Curran Gillis here. You're never late, my friend. You're always welcome to pop in at any time. And I agree with John here. That is some tight cover art. It looks awesome. Uh, all right. The other thing that I love about all those covers is the did Jeff do the typography or did you? Because I think the typography looks great with the cover.
Yeah, Jeff did everything.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
really, you know, obviously he's not the cheapest cover artist, but he's a true
Right.
artist. He's a
Yeah.
true artist. Like when you get a cover done with him, I mean, he draws it on video when you on a video with you. It's pretty
Oh,
amazing.
really?
He
No
does, and
way.
then and right afterwards he sends you a sketch of it, and then he just polishes that over several revisions. It's really cool.
That is cool, man. That's crazy. I didn't know he did that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, that's really cool. I also love the titles that you use. So, how did you come up with titles? I feel like some titles seem kind of recycled from other things, or you've kind of heard them before. But yours, I feel like, are very like. I'm sure they have something to do with every book, but they really are like catchy and stand out. So, how did you come up with the cover or the titles?
I appreciate that. I kind of don't really like, and I don't want to. I want to be careful not to insult anybody. But I kind of don't really like rehashed titles
Mm-hmm.
very much. Like there's some very popular title like templates you could say
Oh yeah,
that I don't really care for
yeah.
using them. But as far as the titles for this, starting with the prequel Woodland Vale, I just thought the setting of that story was so important that I thought that should be the driver of the title for that one. Um, Grave Covenant, because grave is kind of a play on words because there is kind of an undead element to
Hmm.
things, um, or an afterlife, and also just grave meaning like you know deadly or of high dangerous importance or whatever. So I like that kind of play on words. And covenant, that word itself kind of plays in. There are different covenants in the series, kind of like you'll see in some video games, like Dark Souls, for example.
Oh yeah.
Those kind of games where you have covenants. I have that kind of going on in the series where there's dragon covenant, there's succubi, and
Oh
others.
nice.
So that's kind of all playing into there as far as to that one. As far as the Projectionist series, why it's the Projectionists are actually creatures in the series as well. They are these like interdimensional creatures that are kind of playing a game with every single character in the whole series. So they're kind of like the big baddie behind the scenes.
Very
And
cool.
then, yeah, so Dragon Apostle, book number two. Dragons play a big role in the series. So that's obviously the reason for dragon being in there. But there's also like a faith element in the series. Not one that's like preachy or trying to say anything really, but just like the main character really is kind of exploring faith in it.
Yeah.
He's kind of like I don't really. He's not really a big believer, I guess you could say, or he's a skeptic
Hmm.
in higher power or whatnot. So that's kind of a theme in there as well. Not a heavy-handed one, but certain things happen to him, and he questions whether it's being driven by a higher purpose. And so that kind of leads into the title of the second one.
Got it.
A, a platter of onions and marshmallows would be a fantastic read.
That would be if anyone could write that story, it would be John. He could make a good story out of that. Uh,
Yeah,
so
false idol would be just continuing on the faith theme, kind of.
mhm.
But there's specific reasons. There's a couple things you could call false idol in the series. So
Nice. I
I think the
love it.
titles. I like the titles. I think they work.
Oh
They
yeah,
make sense to the story. So
yeah. They really pop, but they make sense with the story too. So EL had asked, "What's a rehash title?" I think it can be a couple different things, right? Either like sometimes it's just straight up a title that's been used before. Sometimes you see that a lot, or just like that, like you said, it's got like that template. Like if it's popular, you know, the certain words that you just switch out words for something that makes sense for your book, but it's very similar to a big popular book. I don't know. I can't even think of an example, but
I mean,
but
like I said, I don't want to insult anybody that
yeah.
has a title. That's that sort of thing. But I feel like the comments are kind of getting at it a little
Hmm.
bit.
Yeah. 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 John's thrown a few out there. All right. So I love everything you're doing, man. It's awesome. So the question I have right now, the focus is the book that just came out, closing up this series. So, but I got to know what's next for Tobias Youngblood. What is your WIP work in progress? So what's coming up next?
Well, for one thing, I'm hoping to actually tell people that I have books because I don't really do that very much. I'm
So
kind of
that's a good step to take next.
right. Yes, like actually like stepping outside, and maybe waving to somebody and saying, "Hey." So I guess a little bit of marketing promotion, you could say, for this
Yeah.
series. Audiobooks. I like audiobooks.
Oh, nice.
So I want to create them for this series.
Heck yeah.
And I want them to be good. I want a good narrator. It's probably going to be expensive because
Yeah, it can
that's
be.
what and I don't want to use AI.
Yeah. I mean there is that I forget what it's called, but it's kind of, you know, you can do it the super expensive way or you can do it the still
Or
expensive but less where you like do more of a share in profits with the narrator. And
yeah, the royalty.
sometimes people have found really good narrators still doing it that way. Whereas
Yeah,
unless you have a certain one you want to go after, then you might have to do it the other way, but
gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure of which narrator I want. I haven't quite gone down that path yet, but it's
yeah.
coming soon. But
Nice.
outside of that, I'm shifting for the near future into a horror series.
Ooh, okay.
Death Sketch. This one I wrote, a while back now, but I have 12 more of these pretty much ready to be written
Oh,
from a plot
nice.
perspective. And these I write with my son Oliver Shade. He's
Oh,
like my
that's
co-author
cool.
for my horror series.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that you wrote. I knew you wrote it with somebody else, but I didn't know it was with your son. You said
Yeah, and
that's so cool.
he's really smart. So he's always like, "That's a really stupid idea." And I'm like, "You're right." He's like, "You should do this instead." So, like I said, we've had those discussions. We've talked through the plot lines for all those stories. So those are going to be coming out quickly here, probably 5 or 6 in the next year.
Heck yeah,
Because they're only about 25,000 words a piece.
okay, yeah, so they're all going to be like the novella or
Yeah,
novelette, whatever you want to call them.
yeah,
That's
that's kind
cool.
of the play for those, and those are all going to be wide.
And then is
Um,
that are those is that going to be like a series, or are they different horror stories set kind of in the same universe?
it's a series of standalones, so it's going
Okay.
to be kind of like Goosebumps for adults. Is
Oh,
kind of
I love that.
what I'm calling it. It's like each story is separate. You could read them in any order, but there's some loose connections there. There might be some part twos. There might be some cameos of characters, but there's not like one overall huge connection.
Okay. Very cool. That's exciting, man. Now what
Yeah.
have you felt like you enjoy, like genre wise? Like what have you felt like you enjoy writing more? Like the fantasy stuff or the horror stuff?
I actually think my favorite story I've written is science fiction.
Oh wow, okay. Is that
That's
is that like in one of your anthologies?
Yeah. I'm only in one anthology. It's Some Minstrels in the Galaxy, which is
Okay.
a an anthology where every story in there is based on a song by the band Jethro Tull.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I just ran into the guy at a convention, and he approached me and asked if I wanted to apply a story to get onto it, and
Oh
I got
wow.
accepted into it,
Heck
and I
yeah,
just
dude.
really like the story. I'm actually considering expanding that, or I am going to expand that story.
Ooh, okay. That's cool. Well, I didn't add the anthology in the description below, but I'll add it, everybody, so that if you want to go check out that story that's going to become more eventually, you can check it out. So I'll add that down in the description too as soon as we're done. That's pretty exciting, man. That's cool. So that just happened by chance. Like it wasn't an anthology you like applied to be in or anything. Like he just asked you to be in it.
I mean, I had to apply. I had to submit my story to it,
Right, right, right.
but yeah,
But you didn't
yeah.
seek it out. Like he said, "Hey, you want to try out for this?"
I had absolutely zero intentions of writing a story based on Jethro Tull.
Wow,
That was
that's crazy.
no.
Yeah, what are the odds? That's pretty cool though. So now you've written short story, you've written novella, and you've written a book, full length book. So those all have totally different, probably approaches you have to take with them. So
Mhm.
do you feel like we'll talk about it in a little bit when we get to like writing process and stuff like that, but do you feel like you had to change your approach and writing process for each one, or was it just using a different part of your brain more?
Um, the sci-fi short story was. I feel like I had to change my approach, but I wrote it in first person perspective, and everything I've written besides that is in third person past. So that in of itself
Yeah,
was,
that takes a different approach for sure.
yeah, and also just the whole different genre. I didn't put any of the really kind of zany, goofy stuff I put in fantasy.
Yeah.
I try to make it more serious.
Hmm.
And so that one, I think, I didn't really find it difficult. It was just completely different, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Cool.
Um, and then the horror was a lot of fun. I like how short it is
Yeah.
because it's just you can just crank it out. It's not. It's just longer than a short story.
Hmm.
You can still call it a novel form, but it's not going to take you years to do.
Yeah.
Uh, so those are fun. I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah, I am too, man. I loved Goosebumps growing up, so I'm pumped. That's
Yeah,
definitely you should definitely put that as the tagline at the top of your description when you start pumping them out. That's a great way to describe it.
yeah. Unlike this fantasy series I've been writing, I have such a hard time describing it because it's such a mashup of things.
But mashups, I feel like a good mashups like that can be good if you can think of those three things that you mentioned, but three popular examples and just say it's like blank meets blank meets blank. Sometimes that
Yeah,
can get people to be like, ooh, if they like all those things. But
yeah,
that can be like Dresden Files meets something with the horror part and something with I mean, yeah, it's hard, but sometimes that can be a good way to do it when you don't know how to describe it genre wise. Just
yeah.
picking three things that it's similar to.
I'm just gonna say Harry Potter meets Game of Thrones meets Sarah J. Maas or something like that.
Oh, boom. Sold already.
So
There you go. I love it. Nice. All right. Well, in a minute here, I want to switch gears and talk about your journey to becoming a writer and to writing that first book and like your inspirations and all that. But first, uh, I always like to share a couple of dad jokes on my interviews here. So, are you ready for some dad jokes? I've got some Christmas ones for you since we are in the Christmas season. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I love dad jokes myself. I am a dad, so
All right, good, good, good. Uh, all right, I'll do a. Let's see. I've got one that's a little raunchy, so I'll save that one for second. I'll do this other one first. That's not as bad. It's a little lighter. So, um, what question did the snowman keep asking over and over again? Does anyone else smell carrots?
oh man.
I know it's bad. It's bad. But this listen to this one. Okay. How do you tell if a snowman is a girl or a boy?
Um,
Snowballs.
oh, I was gonna say if they have snow cones.
I like that. I like that. All right, all right. So take us back to when you were just a little Tobias. Tell us some of the things that inspired you to get interested in, I mean, fantasy, sci-fi, and horror, really, because you like all of them. And then at what point you started writing, and then when you decided I'm going for it, and you started writing that first book that you worked so hard on.
Yeah, I think each genre has very distinct influences that are very different from one another. Obviously, I think sci-fi was less books, honestly, and it was more movies like
Oh
Alien,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
the Thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
There are
love the
some,
thing.
and even like The Fly, the old classic.
Oh yes, yes.
I love stuff like that. Um, so from a sci-fi perspective, those are really kind of my bigger influences. Those kind of movies. And then from fantasy, honestly, when I was really young, C.S. Lewis, like really young child, and then Tolkien. When I got a little bit older, Tolkien definitely.
Oh, nice. That's always a good start for fantasy.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's evolving. The fantasy, I'm always discovering new authors. I was a big fan of the now kind of shamed Neil Gaiman. He was kind of a big inspiration for me, but unfortunately, he's kind
mhm.
of
Yeah, that one's hard to to keep to keep up on, right? That one you kind
yeah.
of have to let go to the wayside.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've become a big fan of, even though I've only really read one of his books, but I loved it so much.
mhm.
I've become a big fan of Joe Abercrombie.
Oh, me too.
I want, yeah, I want to read everything by him.
Oh yeah. What did you read?
The Blade itself.
Nice.
Yeah, and I
That's
have the
good.
Devil, not the Devil Special Edition, and I have the other First Law. Wait on tap, but yeah, he's great in my opinion.
Oh heck yeah, good. I'm glad that you liked it because I loved it, and so many people read the blade itself and they say it's not going anywhere. It doesn't live up to the hype, and it's like, man, it just characters are so good. Like it doesn't the plot doesn't even have to be super detailed. I just want to be with his characters, and I'm happy. I don't care what's going on.
Yeah, and I haven't finished the trilogy, so I can't say like it's all set up and that's good, but
Oh yeah,
I didn't feel like
there's a plot. There is.
yeah,
I'm not sure why people say there's not, but there
yeah,
is. It's more
I didn't
obvious as you go on, but.
yeah, I didn't feel like there was no plot, but a lot of people do say that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do get it, but
yeah. I mean, I
um,
get the plot. Maybe, maybe eventually it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but if you keep reading, it does. So, but anyway, go ahead.
and then from the horror front, I was a huge Stephen King fan growing up. I've read tons of his books,
Oh
so
yeah, very nice.
others as well. He's definitely the one I've read the most of. Clive
Mhm.
Barker's a really good
Oh
horror
yeah.
author. Too, like,
Hmm.
but yeah, so just kind of all those influences, I guess, just come together. um, and it kind of brings me to this desire to like kind of mesh them up a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, just a darker style fantasy, or just stick with horror, or even I think everything I do for the most part is going to have a little tinge of darkness to it.
Hmm. Well, that's my jam, so I like hearing that. That's what I like to read. So, so when did you start writing? Like, did you write, or at least maybe everybody writes in school at some point? But when did you start writing stories?
I didn't really get serious about writing stories until like a decade ago.
Hmm.
Um, but when I was a kid, I dabbled, but I think I never really thought any of it was good, and I just kind of scrapped it. And I think what happened honestly is I was really into music,
Okay.
and I think that became my outlet. I actually played in a band for many years,
Oh, nice.
and so that and with some of my best friends locally.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I think that kind of became my creative outlet. Now that you're mentioning it, and so that kind of probably made me table
Oh,
writing.
yeah. Because that's a great outlet to have, a creative outlet. Did you play an instrument? Did you sing? What was your thing?
I definitely didn't sing. I started off playing drums, but I switched, became the bass player and bass
Okay,
guitar. I play guitar as well.
nice.
It's
Trinity
kind of
wants to know what kind of band.
it's kind of an indie alternative band. So I would say it's like influenced by bands like Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, stuff like that.
Nice. Very cool.
Not nearly as good as either one of those bands though. But
What was the name of your band?
Counterfeit Molly.
Oh, that's a cool name. Nice. How long did you play in it for?
Um, Probably about 6 or 7 years.
Wow, you guys had a good run then.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So then, eventually, well, here, let's see. Trinity said, "Did you ever record any songs? Like, did you ever do
Yeah,
like
if you
your own little CD or record or anything, or put songs out there?"
Yeah, I think there's some songs out there on SoundCloud. There's a couple albums.
Nice.
So I quit like a long time ago, but the singer of the band, his name is Mike Gumbus.
Mhm.
He still plays locally, shows all over town,
Oh,
and
wow.
he's in another band called Step Pets, um, and he's putting out music still too. So
Dang. Okay, that's pretty cool.
yeah,
So you could bust it out if you need to. Maybe when I have you back on again in the future, you can play us a song.
okay.
Oh man. All right. So what do you think it was that made you decide to start writing and get serious about writing a book?
Yeah, that's an easy one. So I was at work one day, and I work in completely unrelated to writing
Hmm.
business. I work in finance and accounting stuff. But a colleague was like really excited about this book. He just approached me in like the break room. He was like talking about this. I don't remember what book it was,
Yeah.
but I was like, I had stopped reading fiction for like a decade.
Hmm.
And I just remember like, oh yeah, I used to read books all the time. Why did I stop reading
Right.
books? And
Yeah.
so that day, I was like, I'm going to start reading books again. And so I started voraciously reading books, and I was like, I'm going to write books, and then I just started writing, and haven't stopped since then.
Nice. Okay. Now, when you first were starting, did you kind of always plan to just go the indie route, or did you think about doing traditional or querying or any of that stuff?
Well, I always felt like, you know, I wish I'd started doing it earlier, and so I didn't really have any patience for
Yeah.
traditional. I was like, I'm just going to
Right.
some stuff start out there, and if no one has it, that's fine. I don't want to write something and just painstakingly query it for like 10 years, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yep.
so I decided to just go the indie route, do it myself. And I'm also kind of a control freak, so I like the idea of just being able to control every aspect of everything
Yeah.
and having no deadlines other than my own. Um, and I'm also very visual, so I love the idea of being able to pick my own covers. Um, but I also like I like the idea of querying for traditional too, and I'm planning on doing that.
Nice. All right. That's cool, man. What are you thinking of doing it with stuff that you already have out or things that you're going to write in the future?
So I actually already pitched. I pitched one already to an agent at a convention
Oh,
for a
wow.
story
Okay.
I haven't written yet, and he said it was cool, but he thought it was a short story. But
Hmm.
basically, that is a story about a blob in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh,
Or
wow.
I actually went there, but it's a story about basically a gigantic blob that just appears there, and the story is like the purpose of the story is basically like how everybody reacts to this
Yeah.
blob, um, more so than a monster story. But
Oh,
he liked it, the idea, but he thought it was more of a short story because if it was going to be novel length, he basically was saying you would have to focus more on have more of an in depth character, more so than what I was pitching with the
mm,
setting and the environment, the overall theme of people going after each other because of an unknown. It's kind of a big, you've heard of the big dumb object trope, kind of like the Death Star is a big dumb
oh,
object.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I guess the wall would be in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
pretty
a big dumb
cool.
object trope story, and I went to Iceland, so that kind of inspired it too.
Yeah.
And I have the exact setting of where I would want it to be.
That's cool, man. I think that could definitely make a book. You'd probably just have to expand on like on the character's background and like what's going on with them so you could draw it out more. But I think that I mean every good horror you like horror. I feel like every good horror book or movie or anything, it does have a monster in it, but usually it's got really good character stuff and it's all more about how they react to the monster and all that stuff because you got to care about those people or when they all die one by one you're not gonna really care, you know. So
Yeah,
unless it's a B movie, then you know that has its own thing too.
yeah, but the
But
thing about this story is that the blob doesn't do anything.
yeah.
It just sits there, and so then
Well, that's more unnerving because you don't know what the heck is the point of this thing.
people start to have different theories and turn on each other for different reasons.
I think that sounds really cool, man.
It's either going to be really cool or really terrible. Well, there's only one way to find out.
Right? Yeah, you won't know until you put it out there, right? I'm interested, man. That sounds cool. um, all right, so you wrote the first book, and then it took you a while. Do you feel like as you wrote each book since that first book, because you said it took you a couple years at least, do you feel like you've gotten quicker with each book because you've just gotten more used to like the process and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the case, and also just book one. It kind of sets up all the different characters,
Mm-hmm.
and they have different storylines that have to converge.
Right.
Whereas in like, and that's kind of difficult because you don't want the reader to be like, "Where's this going? How, does
Mm-hmm.
this make sense?" And you got
Yeah.
to really worry about not having overlapping scenes and stuff. Whereas in they kind of come together in book one towards the end of book one, and then it's easier just kind of as more of a team in book two and three. So it's more simple
Yeah.
in that. Even though there's tons of other stuff going on, but it's not these hugely converging storylines like it is in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, and that the whole book kind of morphed into something different too. So that took a while to go from a standalone into what it became. So that probably added some time on. Whereas
Yeah.
with books two and three, you knew what they were, you know, so you could just write the story.
But yeah, I mean, I think that each book you get faster, you get better. You don't get hung up on some of the things you might have got hung up
Right.
initially,
Early on. Yep. That's 100% true, I'm sure.
and you also gotta recognize what advice you want to take from people,
Mm-hmm.
what you want to throw out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to throw out, in my opinion, and there's a lot of stuff you should accept too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep, yep, I'm sure. Uh all right, so again, we're going to switch gears here. I want to pick your brain, ask you some writing process questions that I always like to ask. But before we do that, every day on my channel, I do a question of the day, and I like to ask my guests the same question and see how they answer. So today, since we're coming off Thanksgiving, you have a little extra time off, you have a little food coma. It's hard to get back into the grind. So my question of the day I asked was, which holiday do you have the hardest time kind of recovering and getting back on track from? Like Halloween, did you eat too much candy? Maybe out late with the kids trick or treating. Thanksgiving with all the food and family, where you have a long weekend but not a super long stretch of time off. Or is it Christmas? Because for me, it's Christmas because I look forward to it every year, and then when it's done like that, it's like ugh. And then I don't know, I always get kind of like down in the dumps for a couple days out of that Christmas spirit. So that one's hard for me. Or something else, 4th of July, birthday, whatever. What would you say?
No, I'm 100% with you.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas. I get a good amount of time off at Christmas. It's my
Yep.
favorite holiday, even though I love Halloween too. But
Oh, yeah.
and then when I get out of Christmas, it's a very busy time for me too,
Mm.
work wise,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's just awful.
Yeah, that's a rough combo. Christmas is done, back to work after time off, and it's extra busy. That's not a good combo.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't like January at all. So
Oh yeah, I hear you. I'm a teacher, so like for me, it's like I'm like down because Christmas is done, Christmas break is over, back to work. But then of course all the students are like they don't want to be there either. So it's yeah, it's not fun. And then all the things you kind of put off before break, now you got to deal with them all plus new stuff. I hear you, man. It's no fun.
though, mad respect for that.
Oh yeah. All right, so writing process. First question. I always have a few questions I like to ask because even though I asked these same questions to this is your number 126 of these interviews, and I've never had the same exact answer twice. So that's why it's always fun to ask these. So, first question, there's a spectrum for authors. You have a pantser on one side that just sits down, writes by the seat of their pants, doesn't plan anything. Then you have a plotter on the other side who plots out everything. They have novels of outlines written. They stick to it. They do not change path. And then you have everywhere in the middle, everywhere in between. So do you feel like you fall somewhere in the middle, or do you lean towards one side or the other, or are you all the way to one side or the other? What say you?
I lean towards plotter, but
Okay.
I'm sort of in the middle-ish because I can't have a rigid plot line. I
Mhm.
got to be flexible with it. But I'm also not going to sit down and just start writing unless it's just something really short.
Yeah.
But if it's I want to write a novel or something, I'm not going to just like start writing without like knowing where I'm going, like a
Right.
goalpost.
Yep.
Typically, I like to have the ending in mind.
I like that. I feel like that's a good way to do it. Now, since you've done short stories and novellas and books, do you feel like that you lean more towards Pantser the shorter it gets? Although with a sci-fi, you probably couldn't. You had to plot some, or research some probably more than you would if it was a different kind of genre.
Yeah, I mean, I always start with something visual that excites me, something I see like in my head that just gets. I think it's an exciting visual.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the next step after that is kind of knowing the ending. And outside of that, I can fill in however I want. As long as I know what that first point is I'm trying to get to,
Mm-hmm.
start writing, and then the rest of it can completely morph into something else. It can grow, it can shrink, more characters can come into it. Um, but I agree with you. The shorter it is, in general, the more flexible it can be because you're not going to be wasting as much time.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to map it out as much probably.
Mm,
Because yeah, if you have the end post already figured out, it's a lot shorter journey to that ending in a short story than it is in a book, right? So
yeah.
that makes sense.
And
Uh,
even the end post can be vaguish.
yeah,
You
that's
just
true.
from a big picture like how it's going to end, but there can be all kinds of details in there that change.
Yeah, that's true. Now, since you do leave it open to wiggle room and things changing, Have in your books that you've written, have you ever had things change a lot, like where you thought you knew where it was going, but then once you write these characters and they kind of come alive, it's like, they wouldn't do that anymore. I'm going to change this, or I think actually this should happen, or maybe a character that you create along the way gets a bigger page count than you thought they would, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say throughout this whole trilogy that happened, really the screen time between the four main characters is fairly even. Whereas I aim to have Ridley, who's the main character, probably have the most of it because he's on all the covers, of
Hmm.
course. Um, but really, it's kind of bad, but he's not necessarily my favorite character of the four.
Really?
Um, my favorite is actually one of the shifters named
Okay.
Civ, and he got a really big role that's pretty unexpected in book number three, the one that just came out, False Idol. He kind of goes a little bit um, like bonkers in that one. I can't really give it away, but he did things I didn't expect him to do. But it didn't change the ending of the story. It didn't. It wasn't outside of his character or anything. He just went a little bit more extreme than I was expecting him to, which is
Interesting.
fine.
Okay.
And I liked what he did. I
Yeah,
liked that.
that's
So
cool.
yeah.
I always love hearing that. I think that's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So next question is, I'm always curious about how it went writing either battle scenes or action scenes. Yours are probably more action scenes. Maybe in that prequel novella there were some battle scenes, but same thing, same concept. Sometimes it can be hard to write those, especially when you're first starting out. Did you feel like it came natural to you, or did you have to do a little like research into like action scenes from books you liked or movies you liked and kind of take that to write it, or was it something that just came to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I thought it came pretty easily. I was
Nice.
expecting it to be difficult, but it
Hmm.
wasn't the horror aspect for me.
That's good.
I also thought because I'm kind of like my head's always in the clouds to a certain extent. Sometimes I might not remember all the details of things, so I thought I might not be the most descriptive narration author out there.
Hmm.
But I feel like that's not the case because I just visualize things well, the setting that I just want them to be in. And I think the same thing with the action. I just think I think it came pretty easily for me. I think that one thing that helped me was so much shifting for these characters. The shape shifting aspect is a very action intensive um, description in the book, and it happens quite a bit. So I think that kind of brought me into the mode where it was not too difficult.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
But I think something that surprised me on the flip side was I always thought dialogue would just be natural and easy for me for whatever reason. I don't
Okay.
know, arrogance or whatever. I don't know why, but I that's more of a struggle. I'm like, that's fine, but that's not great dialogue. That's okay. Like when I
Dialogue
read,
is hard.
yeah, like when I read something like Game of Thrones, I think George R. R. Martin's dialogue is just out like
Hmm.
absolutely next level.
Oh yeah, it is. It
Um,
is.
yeah.
It's hard to
So
get.
that was yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So that's an area where I'm always trying to improve. Not that I think I have horrible dialogue, but I don't think
Yeah,
it's the number one strongest aspect of my story.
yeah. It can be hard. Like I feel like it's just like the flow of it is so hard. Like you don't want to. It's finding that sweet spot where people can tell who's talking when and where, but you don't want to add
Mhm.
in too much to make that obvious, because then it clunks it up. Like always being like blah 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 said as they tuck their hair behind their ear, or blah blah
Yeah,
blah gasped and then said, like, but then if you just don't have any of that and it's just sentence after sentence of quotations, sometimes you don't know who's talking, so it's hard to find that sweet spot for sure.
and then also you want each character to have their own
Their
voice.
own voice, yeah.
You want them to have uh, something stand out about their personality that just like you just recognize it when you see it on the page.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
you don't want to do it over the top where it just makes
Right.
them kind of like a caricature or something. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like a fine line to balance.
Yeah, it's so true.
There's a lot to it. I think dialogue is very like in depth. There's a
Yeah,
lot to that.
It really is. That's very true. Shout out Jasper Renwick just popped in here, another awesome author. Thanks for being here, man. All right, my next question is when you're writing these books like False Idol, when you just got it done, when you were working on it, um, are you somebody that sets daily or weekly or monthly word count goals or anything like that? Or are you someone that just is like, I'm just going to write whenever I can and I want to get it done by this time, it's going to happen so that you don't put too much pressure on yourself? How do you handle getting things done by a certain date that you pretty much set on your own, but you still want to meet those goals? How do you make sure you get there?
I need to get better at that. Honestly, I want to say like I posted somewhere on social media that False Idol was going to come out like last December at some point. So
Oh shoot.
yeah, there. Sometimes I just hit lulls. I want to say I hit a lull where I didn't write for 2 or 3 months straight.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, and then once you hit something like that, and the worst part is I didn't know why.
Hmm.
Um,
Hard to get out of the funk if you're not sure what's putting you in the funk.
exactly. Um, but once I got out of that, I think just getting into a routine. But I do I set deadlines, and I'm good at keeping with them as long as I don't fall into a rut like that,
Yeah,
which I
for sure.
typically don't. But so yeah, I try to set word count goals loosely, but um, I don't get too crazy with it. This isn't boot camp.
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
You got to have
you
fun with it, right? If you put
gotta have fun with
make
it.
it
That's number
too
one.
strict, then it's not going to be fun.
Exactly. That's so important because if you don't want to burn out and just not enjoy it, it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, so when you are writing, then are you a creature of habit? Like, do you prefer writing morning versus night? Do you always write in the same place, like on your laptop at a desk, or do you sometimes write on a phone or a tablet, or do you like to go places and write, like a coffee shop, outdoors? What about all of that? Do you just kind of write anywhere, anytime to get it done, or are you a creature of habit with it?
Another good question. So I kind of I try to I often think I want to romanticize it and go sit by the beach
Yeah,
and work on my story, or go sit
right.
in the cafe and wave to people while I'm writing this story or whatever.
Yep, yep,
It does not work for me. I'll just like get distracted
yeah,
and see, and just next thing I know, I've written like 2 sentences, and it's not even good. Not
yeah,
even good 2 sentences.
right.
um, at night, I can write, but I'll tend to not know when to stop, and it jacks up my next day.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do that more, but so I've turned into a morning writer, and I've kind of gotten a bit uh, lax on it. But I used to get up at like 5 a.m. and write for two
Dang.
hours before I start work, like every day.
Yeah.
Um, so I still do that, but it's more like 1 hour before work, and it's not every day. But I'm starting to get back into it. But yeah, morning. I just think morning is more. It's healthier. You have to be more strict with your time because you have to leave for work. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, true.
And you don't. If you don't like if you're not productive, you'll just be pissed off all day because you didn't get your goal before work.
Yeah.
So it's more of a business like approach.
Okay. That's
To
true. I
finish.
didn't think about it like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna think about it all day if you didn't if you didn't hit it.
yeah. And weekends I don't really do too much because just the family. I
Mhm.
want to spend time with them, and I don't
Yep.
want to just lock myself away and just be like, no, I'm writing my book.
Mhm.
Screw you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Right. That's
So
a good
yeah,
way.
morning is kind of what I switched to, and I think that's best for me. Even though
Nice.
it's not the most fun, maybe, but it's the best.
Right. But it's what works right now, anyway. Right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I like to ask about is maps. Now, do you have maps in any of your books or anything yet? 'Cause these
I
genres
have,
don't always have maps, urban fantasy or horror. So I wasn't sure if you did or not.
so Winland Vale does have a
I
pretty
figured that was
basic.
then.
Yeah, it has a pretty basic map that I made. I did it myself.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's nothing too crazy. Um,
Let's see it.
yeah, and I actually am not thrilled about how it's kind of splitting up the crease, but I did
Oh,
it in
wow. That looks awesome, man.
Yeah, I did it in Wonder Draft.
Oh, you did really good.
I think it's called Wonder Draft. It looks really blurry to me. I can't really tell.
I,
But
I could see it before it got up close. I could see it really good, and then it
uh,
got blurry. But
but that's the only one so far. I actually was like, maybe I should make a map of the city for each book, and I was like,
yeah,
no, I'm not gonna do that.
I know.
But yeah, I do like maps, and
Yeah.
I have another idea for another kind of D&D style fantasy featuring orcs that I haven't talked
Ooh,
about. But that
that would
one's
be awesome.
that one's definitely going to have maps, like really, really like colorful maps that I'm going to have someone else do.
Ooh, that sounds cool, man. We all love
Yeah,
a good orc. That sounds like a good idea. So keep that one in the burner to come
yeah.
out.
I actually forgot, but I have that one actually partly written. I completely forgot
Nice.
about that one. I worked on that in a workshop.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good. You already got a start on it. That's awesome. Very
yeah, and
cool.
that one's kind of inspired a little bit by Warhammer. I
Hmm.
play Warhammer
Oh
a
yeah.
little bit, and I use the orcs as my army, so it's got a little bit of that kind of style to it.
Okay. Very cool.
So it's more lighthearted, humor, humorous.
Nice. That I always like too. That's always a good. It always gets me. So, uh, all right. Last one in this section is music or background noise, ambiance. Are you somebody that likes it to be quiet, or do you like to listen to music? And if you do listen to music, does it need to be instrumental only? Do you listen to just whatever sounds good, or do you try to set the scene that you're writing? What do you do for that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So when I first started writing, because I love music,
Hmm.
so I was like, I I need to find the best music to write to, and so I want to say I went to multiple forums and just took recommendations for writers of what they listen to and all that. And definitely instrumental because I get distracted by lyrics.
Yeah.
But I found that over time, it's just another thing to have to worry about is setting a playlist for my writing. And I just found white noise was the truth for me. So I just
Oh.
listen to white. I put on white noise
Oh
anytime I write.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool. So like
yeah,
just like do you look it up or do you have a CD or like a noisemaker? What do you or is it just like how do you get your white noise?
yeah. I have a headset and a white noise app on my phone, and I just
Wow.
play it through.
Okay.
Anytime I'm writing, I'm listening to that same white noise, and you can mix it up. There's like there's like you can mix white noise with like rain on a tent,
Oh wow. Okay.
or bubbling lava or whatever,
Yeah.
just anything like that.
That's pretty cool. I haven't heard anybody ever say they do white noise. That's cool.
Yeah.
How did you discover that? Like that worked for you? What was like the first time you listened to it? What did do you just tried it out or did you hear it on accident or what?
No, I want to say I read it in a forum when I was out taking recommendations. People do that.
Nice. That's cool.
And then when I tried it, I was just like, well, I like this because number one, I don't have to fiddle with deciding what to listen to when I'm
Mhm.
writing because I'm trying to fiddle with my story,
Right.
not background stuff.
Right.
It felt like it just. I think over time, it just really when I hear that, it lets me know it's time to write. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's
Yep.
consistent and it blocks out everything else.
Cool. All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, that was those questions. So we are a little past an hour, and then since we had some technical difficulties ahead of time, I want to be respectful of your time. So I think we'll end it here. So thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun, and I'm
Yes.
excited about your books. Before I go into my ending spiel, I'll give you the floor to shout out anything you want, your books again, or whatever, anything you want. The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just say, if you like dark fantasy, urban fantasy, check out the Projectionist series. The first book, Grave Covenant, is actually free today, tomorrow, or through Thursday.
Oh,
It's on
nice.
Amazon, so you can get the ebook for free. It's also in Kindle Unlimited, so if you're in that program, you can read it for free at any time. And I guess that's it. I would say, and if you're looking for some goosebumps for adults, check out the Nightmare series. There'll be 5 more coming out in the next year. And Death Sketch is out now.
Awesome stuff, man. And it's all linked below, and I think I have Amazon links for them, so that should help you get to the first book if that's the one that you're looking for to get started on the series. So, thanks again for coming on, man. I really mean it. It was a blast, and I'd love to have you on again anytime. Anytime you have a new project or a book out to promote it, or if you just want to come on and talk books, talk shop, let me know, and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. This has been awesome. Really
Yeah, no
appreciate it.
problem, man.
And thanks
And
everyone, Jasper, and everyone else that came out.
yeah, exactly. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. We appreciate you. Oh, and Timothy just said followed you on Amazon, so there you go. Keep
Timothy.
it track. Yep. And you are welcome, Jasper. Thanks for hanging out, man. But thank you, everybody in the live chat. You guys were awesome. As always, thank you if you're watching on replay. We appreciate you. And again, in the description, I've got Tobias's website and all the books linked. I'll add in his collection that he's a part of, his short story collection that he's got one, anthology that he's got a short story in. And also remember, book one is free right now. So go there and check it out and then get the
Yep.
rest after that. So everybody have a wonderful night. I'll be back here tomorrow night with author N.A. Betts. He's got a new book, the third book in his trilogy also. And we're doing a giveaway. We'll announce the winner of that tomorrow night. So make sure you're there. Look for links tomorrow on social media and on YouTube so you know when it's going to be and how to get there. So that's it for us tonight. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and a great weekend. We'll see you in the next one. And until you do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody. Take it easy.